Hi everybody, welcome to another video on the farm. It is July 4th and it is really hot and the sun is really intense these days. We are out here busting our butts on the 4th of July. Sometimes on the farm we don't get to take the holidays that normal people take. We're probably gonna end today a little early and go swimming to help celebrate, but during the day we got to get some stuff done, and especially since we were a little behind this year. So we're out here and we're weeding and planting and doing all the normal things, moving animals, taking care of all these little living creatures that you guys need to eat. But I just wanted to give you another update because I didn't get a video in last week. The garden is doing pretty good. We're chipping away and we're gaining ground on all the problems that had been building up this spring. We're managing to get on top of a lot of the weeds. Crops are growing really nicely. They're looking pretty healthy. We've got a lot of those summer crops coming in soon, like zucchini and squash here. They're looking much better. We've got tomatoes and cucumbers. Cucumbers are getting trellised in here. There's been a little bit of bug pressure, not very much. We put these row covers over them to protect and keep the bugs out. These are easy breezy cloths that let air flow through but keep those bugs out. But that's one of the last bugs that we are really getting afflicted with, is the cucumber beetles. As I've said before in previous videos, as plants get healthier, they resist bugs better and better, but the beetles are the hardest ones to resist. And so we still have a few beetles in the garden. All of the smaller, simpler bugs have more or less disappeared. So that's good news. That means we're headed in the right direction and the soil is getting healthier and the plants are more nutritious. And you know that because nutrition is flavor and you taste the difference in our produce. But as I said, everything's going well. Small crops, these will be ready in the fall. We're already thinking about fall crops like cabbages and broccolis. Oh, there goes my hat. We've got a lot of summer crops here. Beets are looking great. Onions are sizing up. More onions for later in the fall. We've got potatoes and beets and broccoli, lettuces, all kinds of greens still in the field. Tomatoes here are getting bigger. There's a few ripening you can see down there. So we're starting to have some red fruits a little bit, but they're growing pretty well, looking pretty healthy. Not a lot of health problems there either. And what else is going on here in the garden? Not a lot. They're out there harvesting a few things, tending plants back there. They're grabbing the cauliflower right now. Cauliflower is one of those vegetables that is actually a flower, cauliflower, just like broccoli. And the flower needs to be picked at a very specific time. So while we do most of our harvesting on Monday, the day before we deliver, so that things are maximally fresh, when it comes to a flowering crop like cauliflower or broccoli, it needs to be harvested right before those buds open. There's a very specific time in its life cycle that it needs to be captured, and so that's when we harvest that. Thanks to our big walk-in refrigerators that are over there, we can hold those in ideal temperatures and they store really well, and they will still taste and be incredibly fresh when we get them to you on Tuesday. The funny thing is that for us, harvesting something on a Friday before the delivery on Tuesday is still much fresher than anything else you can get in the grocery store. For us, it feels like a delay, an unnecessary delay, because we're so used to harvesting your food within 24 hours of the delivery period. That's how fresh we like to deliver it to you, as fresh as possible. But even when we delay a little bit by a day or two, it's still fresher than anything else you can get anywhere. Another fun thing that's happening in the garden right now is the garlic scapes that are coming out. We've had those in the store for the last couple weeks, so maybe you've already had some, but we love garlic scapes. Garlic scapes are actually the flower coming out of the garlic plant. So this is our garlic field right here, and the garlic scapes are the flower coming up out of the garlic plant. And we clip all those off and you can roast them and eat them. They have a mild garlicky flavor and that's great. But it also means that soon after that is when we harvest our new garlic. So we're coming up on the garlic harvest, and that's actually a really big job in the garden. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds of garlic here, 5 100-foot beds. That's a lot of garlic, and it's kind of a big job. If you want to participate in that, let us know. It'll be really fun to make it into a party. We've toyed with that idea in past years, but haven't really made it a thing. But if you want to participate, help us pull the garlic, trim off the tops, trim off the roots, get it cured in the greenhouses properly, you think that would be fun, let us know and we will put you on a list and let you know when that's happening and kind of make a day out of it, because it's a big long process that we like to work in. It always happens in the middle of the summer, so it's kind of a marker for us of when we're hitting that midpoint in the summer and we're starting to move into the downhill side of the season. Everything else is going well around here. We're not planting so many things. We're actually getting towards the end of the planting season. A lot of the harvest stuff is just getting going, but the planting itself is starting to taper off. That will be ending in August, so not too far away. But yeah, it's super hot out here. We're trying to stay hydrated. We're trying to make sure that we can beat the heat this way or that, keep the sun off of ourselves with hats or whatever it takes, and keep chugging away, producing tons and tons of food for you guys. So that's it for the garden. I'm gonna take you over to the brooder and we'll see a few more other things. Say hi, girls. And that'll be it for today. Thanks for watching. Here I am in the brooder. This is our 4th batch of chicks here, and they just are getting their white feathers, so they're ready to go out onto pasture to be in fresh grass. But as you can see, they're really hot. Look at them panting. It's been super hot here in the last couple days. Even though they're in shade here and they've got a cross breeze blowing through, it does get hot for these birds. So that is a struggle to keep all these animals comfortable here on the farm. Here I am in the pig area, and just to give you an update on the pigs are hot. There's one right there under the grass, which you can probably barely see in the camera. Right there. They like to lay in the cool soil and under the grass. These guys found a cool soil spot when it gets too hot. The shade from the trees over there kind of moves through this area, and they have shade most of the time, but sometimes there's periods where there's not a lot of shade and then they find somewhere to be. You can see just past this little fence here and this gate, this is a pallet gate, there's another paddock there. That's where they were before, and it's worked down. They're almost done with this paddock. They've knocked down a lot of the vegetation and turned over the ground. And then before that, on the other side of those pallets, is another paddock where they were before that. And then before that is where they were before that. And you can see that the regrowth is increasing. It's greener down there where they haven't been in a long time, and it's more and more disturbed as they come. As soon as they're done with this, which will be tomorrow, they will be moved all the way back to that end and put into those green paddocks down there, and they'll start turning over the soil and messing with everything down there. And slowly this will have a rest to regrow before they come back. So that's what we're rotating them through, a series of paddocks here. Again, this is just a big experiment pigs. We're just doing 4 for ourselves, and we will see how it goes. Maybe in the future we'll be able to do more with a similar system, but this is a small example and trial to see how it all goes, see how they respect the fence, see what kind of behaviors we need to manage for, see how they gain weight with the feed, see if the waterers that we've come up with work. All that kind of stuff, so that if there's a problem, it's a small 4-pig problem, not a big 30-pig problem. There's one other pig there. He actually developed a limp in the last couple days on one of his legs, so we separated him out so that he could be rested and not shoved around by the other pigs, and that's one thing that we got to deal with. So here we are in the pig area. Yeah, this was all lush, tall weeds, annual weeds mostly. This is where we've done our winter paddocking for the dairy cow in the past, so there's actually a fair bit of fertility here, and the pigs are just stirring it and turning it over. And yeah, it looks like a lot of disturbance right after the pigs come through, but then lots of annual weeds sprout up in these areas and regrow lush. And there's a lot of growth again after they disturb that soil. Animal impact is good for the soil at a certain level. Too much and it becomes destructive, too little and the environment stagnates. You need that disturbance that comes when animals live in the environment. So those are the pigs. They're doing pretty well. So far the system is working pretty well. Haven't had any pigs out running all over the farm. We did have one day where one scooted through the fence and into another paddock, but we've never had one escape and gone. The smell is staying down because we're keeping to moving them, and everything is working out okay for now. But there you go, we'll have pork chops and sausage. Brats next 4th of July will be from these guys this year. There you have it. Pigs, chicks. I'm not gonna go out onto the pasture right now. Garden is growing. Everything is going right along in these hot dog days of summer. Keep placing those orders. We got chicken all stocked up, like I said in the letter, and plenty of ground beef for burgers. The summer food is here, and all those cool vegetables for nice summer salads and stuff. So place your orders and we'll see you at the drop site on Tuesday. Until then, stay cool. See you next time.